चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुताः पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। I have to speak in English, no? English? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, very happy to be here amidst all the wonderful Margaon devotees. I think this is the first time I am meeting this particular group here. So, very nice to see that so many devotees are so enthusiastic to hear the message of Gita, and all of you are coming weekly, regularly. So, very happy to be here, very grateful. So, today we are going to discuss a very important topic. The topic is, why is it so important to read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, the books of Srila Prabhupada. I think all of you all have been coming to these satsangs for quite some time now, regularly. I hope all of you all are chanting regularly. So for all of us, there are two things that are very important. One is chanting of Hare Krishna, and the other is reading of Srila Prabhupada's books. So when we come to satsangs like this, so in a satsang like this, we get inspired so that we can go back home and practice certain things. And what do you practice at home after you get inspired in the satsang? Two things: chanting and reading. And both these things go hand in hand. So this is a part of the process called sadhana. Sadhana means practice. Right? For anyone to achieve perfection in anything, anyone becomes perfect only through practice. So for us, perfection is, we want to achieve love for Krishna, we want to go back to the spiritual world, we want to purify our hearts. But the process is these two very important aspects: chanting and reading of Gita Bhagavatam. So today we are going to discuss this very important topic: why to read Gita, how to read Gita, and what are the difficulties that you all could probably face in this. So today's session is going to be a very important session with a lot of practical thoughts for all of you all. So there is a verse in the Gita, this is the 4th chapter of Gita, the 9th verse. Lord Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti swarjuna. Lord Krishna says that anyone who understands his birth or activities, Janma karma cha me divyam. Most people in this world, they consider Krishna to be an ordinary person or Krishna to be a very powerful person. But very few people actually understand who Krishna is, what Krishna's activities are. So therefore Krishna says, Evam yo veti tatvatah. Tattvata means as it is. So how do you understand about Krishna as it is properly? By reading books. Only when we read Gita Bhagavatam, we will understand who Krishna is, what is the message of Krishna, what are the pastimes of Krishna, we will understand. So Krishna says, if we understand the life of Krishna, the teachings of Krishna. So Gita basically is the teachings of Krishna, and Bhagavatam is the life of Krishna. So both these books are very important. So if we understand Krishna's teachings and Krishna's pastimes properly, just by reading books or hearing lectures also, what is the result? Krishna says, Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti swarjana. Just by doing this, we will go back to the spiritual world. And once you go back to the spiritual world, you don't have to come back to this material world again. How many of us want to come back to this world? Very difficult world, na? So if you come back to this world, again you have to start A, B, C, D, Baba, Black Sheep, all that. I remember when I joined the ashram, Brahmachari ashram, somewhere in 2006. I just 2 years ago I completed an engineering. I taught as a lecturer, and then I joined the ashram. So one day in the morning, I was doing my yogasana. After my yogasana, they do this yoga nidra, na? I just did yoga nidra and went to sleep. And in the sleep, I had a dream. You know what the dream was? I dreamt that I had an engineering paper. Literally, I started to sweat. My engineering was over, everything was over. I started to sweat, and I suddenly got up and I understood, Baba, engineering is over, I'm in ashram now. I felt so liberated. Just the thought of that exam and going back to all that thing is quite stressful. So Krishna is saying here, we do a lot of education outside, right? But none of that education outside is actually going to help us deal with the problems of this world, right? When Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the first chapter of Gita, Arjuna was very educated, very powerful warrior. But when Arjuna went through a certain crisis in life, when he had to fight with his own relatives, Arjuna was so confused. And that is the time he takes shelter of Gita Bhagavat. So all of us, we may have different educations in this world, but the actual education that will help us deal with the problems of this world is the education of Gita Bhagavat. So therefore, Krishna is promising here, if we take time to read the message of Gita Bhagavat, Krishna is promising here that we will go back to him and we don't have to come back to this material world. So as I told you, the word Tattvata means as it is. In order to understand Krishna as he is, the instructions of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, it is important that we remove some time to read books. Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON, Prabhupada had a phrase. Prabhupada said in ISKCON, books are the basis. Our entire ISKCON movement, this entire sampradaya is dependent on books. I can explain it in a very long way. Actually, if you see our entire sampradaya, ISKCON belongs to a Brahma Madhva Gaudiya sampradaya. The first acharya in our sampradaya is Brahmaji. Lord Krishna gives this knowledge to Brahma. So if you have seen a picture of Brahma, any painting of Brahma, he is sitting on a lotus flower, and in one hand of Brahma, Vedas are there. He has a book in his hand. So the first acharya in a sampradaya, he has a book in his hand. And every other acharya, till Srila Prabhupada, has stressed on this point of books. Books are the basis of our sampradaya. So we were discussing this point. Srila Prabhupada, we all know that in 1965, Srila Prabhupada went to America, right, to start this ISKCON movement. Before Srila Prabhupada sat on this ship to go to the west, Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, and Prabhupada wrote the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Only after writing the first canto, Prabhupada went to America and started to preach. Because Prabhupada was thinking, if I go to the west and I start to give a class, and hundreds of people, thousands of people come for the class, but after the class, if there is no book for them to read, what will they go back home and do? So Prabhupada very masterfully, he first prepared his book, and based on that book, keeping the book as the basis, Prabhupada went and started ISKCON. So this entire movement is dependent on books. So therefore Srila Prabhupada's phrase is, books are the basis. So the first thing we will try to understand in today's session. So in today's session basically we are going to do three things. We are going to discuss why to read books, which is like a major part of it. Second is, what are the difficulties, if all of y'all, how many of y'all have tried reading Gita Bhagavad? कोई माइका लाल है, पुस्तक उठाया है गीता भागवत. फॉर मेनी पीपल भगवद गीता इज एज इट इज, जशी है तशी, कोई उठाता नहीं है गीता को. फॉर दोज हु हैव ट्राइड रीडिंग गीता, you all might have had certain difficulties in reading it. So we will discuss what are the various difficulties generally people face in reading, and then we will discuss some very powerful tips how to read books. What are the ways in which we can make the book reading really interesting. So first we will spend a little time to understand why to read books. Because when you understand the importance of something now, you find out ways to do it. That why is very, very important. Like all of us, however busy we may be, we have time to eat, no? 3 times a day we eat, right? Why we eat? Because we know eating is very important. Again, so we find out different ways to eat it. However busy we are, we remove time. So similarly, it's very important for us to understand why to read Gita Bhagavad. What is the benefit for me? If we understand this, we will find our ways to read it. The first benefit of reading Gita or the scriptures, books of Srila Prabhupada, is that we experience higher taste. Krishna tells in the Gita, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinam raso varjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So Lord Krishna says, ultimately all of us are looking for that juice, that rasa in life, right? We do so many things, people go out to movies and people do every kind of experiment, right, to experience that taste. But actual nectar, what we are looking for, is in the pages of Gita Bhagavad. But the problem is, because we have not opened Gita Bhagavad and read it, we are trying to look for that nectar around everywhere. We give this example of a musk deer. You have heard this example? Kasturi Mrig. There is a fragrance called musk, Kasturi, the most costliest fragrance. So there is a deer called musk deer, Kasturi Mrig. From the nabi of this deer, there is a fragrance that comes. But this deer doesn't understand that it is coming from its body. It searches all over the forest and it dies, but it doesn't realize that the fragrance is coming from its own body. Similarly, the sad part of India is, even though the real wealth, the real nectar that we are looking for is there in the books, in the pastimes of Krishna, but we don't have taste to read that. And we try to find the nectar in so many things of this world. So therefore, if we want to experience higher taste, reading Gita is very, very important. There is a verse in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. 10th chapter, till Krishna has reached the 10th chapter, Krishna has spoken a lot of verses. But at the 10th chapter of Gita, Arjuna is telling Krishna, my dear Krishna, please speak more. The more I hear about you, from you, your words are so nectarian, I just want you to keep continuing. So, a test of a sincere devotee is whether he is finding taste in these books. Right? And similarly, you have the example of Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj, 7 days, 7 nights is hearing Bhagavatam continuously. How can one hear 7 days, 7 nights continuously without food or drink or sleep if there is no nectar in it? Definitely there is nectar in it. So the nectar that we are looking for is actually there in these books. We were discussing this past time. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, who comes in Kali Yuga. So Mahaprabhu, in Navdeep, in Mayapur, he does a very beautiful pastime. One time the devotees were doing kirtan, and generally after kirtan everyone feels hungry, no? Okay. So there the devotees were feeling very hungry, and that time there was no system of prasad like it is coming today. So devotees were hungry, what to do? So Mahaprabhu took a mango seed and put it on the ground. And immediately a mango tree came up. And on this mango tree there were mangoes. And you know what the speciality of these mangoes were? No skin, no seed, only nectar, juice. Have you seen mango like this in Margao? No skin, no seed, only juice, full amras. And not 1-2 mangoes, the tree was filled with such mangoes, big, big mangoes. So each devotee, they would eat this one mango and they were so satisfied. So these mangoes, what do these mangoes represent? This is Gita, Bhagavatam and all the scriptures. These scriptures have the essence of all the scriptures and the practical the juice that we are looking for. So if we actually read it properly, just like Arjuna is hearing the Gita with rapt attention, just like Parikshit Maharaj is hearing it, like Arjuna, like Parikshit Maharaj, we can experience that higher taste that we are looking for. The second reason why we should read books is to be happy in Krishna consciousness. You see, Krishna consciousness is a very blissful process, but there is a science behind it also. So only when we read books, we can remain happy amidst all the little difficulties that keep coming and going. So Srila Prabhupada would often say, if you distribute books, you will be happy, but if you read the books, actually you will be happy and you will stay in ISKCON forever. So the devotees who can actually experience that happiness in spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness, are devotees who invest some time along with chanting Hare Krishna, taking some time out. Initially it may be just 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. Taking some time out, trying to understand what Krishna is trying to speak in the Gita Bhagavat. The third reason why we should read books is for personal conviction. All of us, our faith in Krishna is very fragile. We have faith in God, but when difficulties come, the faith shakes apart, right? We'll start losing faith, and we have this question: why do bad things happen to good people? I'm such a good guy. Why is bad thing happening? Right? So all these doubts start to come in us: whether Krishna exists, whether Krishna loves us, and so many things. Only when we read books, we will get convinced, and with that conviction, whatever comes in life, whatever difficulties come in life, we will be able to stay strong in bhakti. Otherwise, just like one hurricane or storm comes now, trees that don't have strong roots are uprooted. So similarly, if you are not rooted in the philosophy of these books, if you don't understand the Siddhanta properly, then when difficulties and storms come, which will inevitably happen in this world. What is this material world? Padam padam yad vipadam na tesham. This material world means a place of misery at every given moment. At what moment, what misery is going to come, there is no guarantee. So therefore, if we read books, we can remain firmly grounded. We can be very convinced, right? And we will not be shaken even in great difficulties. The next reason why we should read books is the books of Krishna, the books written by Srila Prabhupada, Gita Bhagavat, has answers to all our questions. We all have so many questions in life, so many doubts, we have so much confusions in life, whether I should do this, do that. We don't have clarity of purpose. If we read books, all questions will be answered. Arjuna had many questions, Arjuna had many doubts, but by hearing Gita, Arjuna was convinced. The same conviction that Arjuna got, we all can get if we read Gita Bhagavat in that mode, right? So we will get answers to all questions. Whenever devotees would go to Srila Prabhupada and they would ask Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, we have this problem, what is the answer, what should we do? Prabhupada would say, read books. Many times we want all shortcuts in life. We want spoon feeding. Go to devotees, they will answer. That's good, we should definitely do that. But along with that, we should try to make that effort to open that book. That book of Gita Bhagavat, even though it appears to be a book, It is actually Krishna in the form of that book. When you have faith, so what should be the mood while we read these books? If you have faith that this is Krishna, and when you open the book, you should have faith that Krishna is speaking to me. You will see that the problem that you are going through, the difficulty that you are going through, those answers you will find in that book. You will find inspiration in that book. Because these are actually Krishna in the form of books. So all our answers, all our questions that we have, we will definitely find answers to it. The next reason why we should read books is, it helps us in adverse situations. Right? As I told you, this material world is a place where there is difficulty at every moment. In Bhagavatam, you have the story of Gajendra. You all know the story? Gajendra was an elephant. Indra basically means king. Indra refers to the king of demigods. So Gajendra means the king of elephants. He was like the Indra among elephants. Very strong, very handsome, very beautiful, very charismatic personality. So Gajendra, along with all his other relatives, wives, he goes to a pond to take bath. And suddenly one crocodile comes and catches the leg of Gajendra. So Gajendra never knew that there is a crocodile below, because he couldn't see what is below the water. Similarly, in this world, we may live life, but we don't know when that crocodiles of problems are there to catch us. When difficulty is going to come, we don't know. In our school days now, we had something called scouts. They may have scouts. So there's a motto for scouts. What is the motto? The motto for scouts is be prepared. So similarly, this material world is a place where difficulties can come. So one should be prepared for difficulties. And Gajendra, something interesting is, when that crocodile caught the leg of Gajendra, Gajendra tried his best, to fight with this crocodile. But in water, crocodile is more strong. Because for the crocodile, water is home ground. You'll understand home ground? Like in cricket you have now. You have home ground. In the home ground, the home players are much more stronger. So for elephant, water was not home ground, foreign ground. For crocodile, it was home ground. So elephant Gajendra was losing his power. So that time Gajendra, in his previous life, Gajendra was a king. His name was Indradyumna. And Gajendra, in this previous life as Indradyumna Maharaj, he had read scriptures, by-hearted certain verses, prayers, and he remembered all those verses. And he took a lotus flower that was there in the pond, offered it to Vishnu, with remembering verses that he had learned when? In his previous life. That came to his rescue. Krishna tells in the Gita, Neha Vikrama Nashosti Pratyavayon Vidyate Shwalpam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. In the path of bhakti, even little bhakti that you do can save you from great danger. The few pages of Gita that you read, you may forget it, but it is there somewhere in your subconscious mind. And at the right time, it will definitely come to help us. So, in order to face the various difficult situations that come around in our life, it is very important that we take shelter of these books. Like Parikshit Maharaj, when Parikshit was cursed that he would die in 7 days, what does Parikshit do? He just takes shelter of Bhagavatam. So these books are Krishna. If we actually take shelter of these books, we can get freed from all our adverse situations. The next reason why we should read books is, we get spiritual strength. See, to practice spiritual life, Srila Prabhupada would say, this is a war against Maya. Maya is illusory energy. Hai ki nahi? Just like now, in jail, when a prisoner tries to escape the jail, what happens? If someone tries to escape the jail, what will the police do? What they will do? Try to catch him. And after that, what they will do? They will tighten the security. Hai ki nahi? They will see that this guy doesn't escape. So for whom the security is tightened? For one who is trying to escape. Understanding? So similarly, as devotees, we are trying to escape this material world. As soon as you tell Maya, I am trying to escape, she will tighten. The war will become more stronger. Right? So spiritual life basically is a war against Maya. And in order to fight this war, you need strength. What is that strength? That strength you will get when we read books. So Srila Prabhupada, the way he started ISKCON and the way he encouraged devotees was every day spending time either alone or in the association of devotees trying to understand Gita Bhagavad. So this is like a kavach for all of us. Just like soldiers, no? Soldiers, when they are out, the first thing they do is they wear their armor, bulletproof or whatever, right? They wear their armor and go out, because when the terrorist is going to come, you don't know. The terrorist is not going to give you warning, be ready, I am fighting. It will not happen like that. He will attack. So you have to be ready. When you go out, you have to have your kavach and go. So when you go out of our house, please understand that we are in this material world. The temptations of Maya, the illusions and the problems are around us. The attacks of Maya are there. Only when we have spiritual strength we can face it. And that spiritual strength comes by reading books. You are understanding? So what I am trying to do till here is, I am trying to give you all various reasons why we should read books, how this book reading will actually benefit us. Can we continue ahead? The next reason why we should read books is, it can rectify agitation of mind. Especially in Kali Yuga, as time goes, mind is so agitated. Chanchalam hi manak Krishna pramadi balavadridam tasyaham nigram manne vayureva cha dishkaram. Arjuna is telling Krishna, my dear Krishna, I can control the wind, but mind I can't control. Arjuna was telling this 5000 years ago. Now what to speak in Kali Yuga? With so much devices and weapons of mass distraction, so many things around us, very difficult to control the mind. The mind is constantly agitated. So how do you pacify the mind? When we read books now, the mind becomes a little peaceful, because we get a sense of purpose in life, a sense of clarity in life. So as we face these various agitations of the mind, reading books actually elevates us. We give this example often. If you are in front of a skyscraper building, like in Bombay, you have this huge skyscraper buildings, 100 floors, 150 floors. If you stand below and you look at that building looks so big and you look so small. But when you take a flight and go on top, that same building, which is so huge, appears very small. You're understanding? So the building has not reduced. What has happened? You have risen higher. So many times, problems are like the skyscraper buildings. When you stand below, the problems appear very big. But when you read books, these books take you on a flight, and the same problems, after reading the books, when you look at the problems in your life, the same problems that were very big for you now start to appear small and manageable. Understanding? So this is what Krishna did on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna had a big problem. He was confused, depressed. Krishna took him on a flight of Bhagavad Gita, and after that, being at that stage of elevation, Arjuna could easily handle his problems in life. So it can rectify our agitation by elevation. The next very important reason why we should read books is, we can directly associate with Lord, with the Supreme Lord and with His devotees. As I told you, when we are reading Gita, we are actually associating with Krishna. Directly, not indirectly, directly with Krishna. The benefit that Arjuna got on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the same benefit we can get if we are in the mood of Arjuna. So Bhagavad Gita is basically the words of Krishna. You are coming in contact with Krishna's words, Krishna's instruction. So you can experience the association of Krishna, you can experience the friendship of Krishna, and you can experience the association of so many devotees. Like when you read the purports of Srila Prabhupada, you are actually experiencing the association of Srila Prabhupada. In Bhagavatam, when you read the story of Narad Muni or any of the great souls, you are actually in their association. Right? So we can associate with that Supreme Lord and the pure devotees of the Lord. The next reason, and a very powerful reason why we should read books, is it purifies our heart. Many times now people have this question or a doubt, I read books but I don't understand anything. How many of us have this problem? पढ़ते हैं समझ में नहीं आता. I know so many people who are stuck in the first chapter of Gita for many years. क्योंकि उसके आगे समझ में नहीं आता, ऊपर चला जाता है. फर्स्ट चैप्टर शुरू करते हैं, धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्म क्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे, नेक्स्ट डे अगेन सेम थिंग, not going ahead only, they don't understand. But we need to understand, we will discuss how to make book reading more effective. But one very important principle is, we are not reading books purely from the point of intellect, just to understand, just to do that. We are reading books to purify our heart. Even if you don't understand, you still read it, it purifies your heart. This is a spiritual subject matter, right? Purification of heart happens. One time there was one old man. He would regularly teach Bhagavad Gita, the shlokas of Gita, to his grandson. And the grandson couldn't, he would learn it but then forget it. So he told the grandfather, I'm trying to understand Gita, but I'm not remembering anything. What is the use? It's simply waste of time. So grandfather said, let's do one thing. There was a coal basket, bamboo basket. The grandfather gave that coal basket to this boy and told him, get water in this basket. Now bamboo basket has holes everywhere. How can you get water in it? Grandfather said, just do it. So this boy went running to that river, put that basket and came running. By the time he reached home, no water, empty. Grandfather said, try again. He did it again and again, a couple of times. And then he came back and he said, grandfather, this is useless completely. He said, no, it's not useless. Look at that basket. Previously that basket was black in color. Now because you have dipped it in that water again and again, nothing is retained, but that basket has become pure. It's become fresh. Similarly, we may not be able to retain content in our mind and our intellect. That's okay. Just the act of reading Gita purifies our heart. Srila Prabhupada, when he goes to the west in the ship of Jaladuta, Prabhupada was reflecting on the same thing. Prabhupada was thinking, how will I convince these Americans to take up Krishna consciousness? Convincing Indians is so difficult. What is speak of convincing Americans, right, who have no idea of Krishna, no idea of India, nothing. But Prabhupada had faith in Gita Bhagavad. Prabhupada, when he went on the ship to America, Prabhupada had 40 rupees in his pocket. With 40 rupees, what can you buy in the West? You can't buy anything in India. What can you buy in the West? It's literally, that means in one sense, Prabhupada went with nothing. But Prabhupada had one trunk, 200 sets of first canto of Bhagavatam. That's what Prabhupada took. That was the real wealth of Prabhupada. And those books created a revolution. The first canto of Bhagavatam has this shloka, Tatvag Visargo Janatagla Viplavo Yasmin Prati Shlokam Abadvati Api Namani Anantasya Yasho Nikitani Yat Shranvanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadhava. Narad Muni is telling Vyasdev, these books, Gita Bhagavat, has a power to create revolution. Tadvag Visargo Janatagla Viplavo. Aga means sin. Everyone's heart is filled with so much sin. But reading Gita Bhagavat can bring about a revolution and purify sinful hearts and make it pure. And this is what Srila Prabhupada did. Based on his faith in Bhagavatam, Shranvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantastoi Abhadrani Vidunoti Surit Satam. So Prabhupada gave them this message of Gita Bhagavat. Prabhupada gave them these books. And just by reading books and chanting Hare Krishna, all these American people who are used to sin right from their birth, they all became completely pure. So just by reading these books, just like we take bath every day. So if you read Gita, it's actually purifying our consciousness. Our heart becomes very, very pure. Another very important reason why we should read is in order to chant better. I hope all of you all are trying to chant some rounds. We all know that how chanting is not such an easy process. Okay? As soon as you take the mala in your hand, the mind goes off on a flight. Okay? It goes everywhere. And as soon as you keep the mala down, the flight lands. How many of you have experienced this? Mind goes completely. Thoughts that you never had before. Some movie that you saw 15 years ago, that will come. Never even thought of that. वो सब विचार आते हैं वहाँ पे. So chanting is definitely difficult. It's a struggle for all of us. So in order to chant better, if you want to experience good chanting, reading is the key. When you actually read books, right? When you read about Krishna, read the instructions of Krishna, and then when you sit to chant, like today if you read something and tomorrow you sit to chant, your chanting becomes much more better. So ultimately the essence of all our scriptures is chanting Hare Krishna. But in order to chant those rounds in a very quality way, taking some time to read is very important. I know many devotees, before they begin even their chanting session, they take 15 minutes out to read. And with that focus they actually chant. So our chanting and our overall our spiritual life can become completely better. The experience can be completely better when we read. And another very important reason why we need to read is to help others. In this world, ultimately everyone is suffering. Srila Prabhupada in one place in the Bhagavatam, he explains that this material world is an ocean of tears. People have so much difficulties that they go through, so many problems. And if you actually want to help others, they say, help yourself before you help others. If you are not sure about what the solution is, what can you help others for? Srila Prabhupada could go around the world and he created such a big revolution because Prabhupada first knew the scriptures well. So it's important that we read these books. Bharata Bhumite Hoila Manushya Janma Jar Janma Sartak Kari Karo Paropakar. So those who have taken birth in the land of India, it is our duty first to perfect our life by reading these books. And as I told you, the irony is so many Indians, even though we are born in this great land of India, where Lord Ram appeared, Lord Krishna appeared, Lord Buddha appeared, and all these great personalities, we have Vrindavan, Ayodhya, all these places here, Ganga, Yamuna, still people don't have any clue of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. You ask people what is there in Bhagavad Gita, they don't know. You ask people how many centuries Virat Kohli scored, people know that. People know that. Other things people don't know. You ask people how many chapters are there in the Gita, they have no understanding. They don't know. So we need to focus on what is important for us. So only when we read these books, we can get convinced, and then we will be able to do paropakar. We will be able to help others. We will be able to give that Gita with conviction. Please read this. This will change your life. So reading can actually help others. Right? When you meet someone, if you have not read, what will you talk to him? You will talk to him politics, this, that only. But if you have read something, you can share that. Now whatever politics you discuss, the politics is not going to change because of your discussion. The world is not going to change just because of that discussion that you have. Rather, you can discuss about Krishna. So it's important that we read something and then share with others. Krishna tells in the Gita, Machitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. A devotee means they come together, inspire each other and share whatever they have read, heard with each other. This is what this association of Krishna consciousness, this movement is meant for. So reading can actually help others. And the ultimate purpose to read is to please Krishna. We are reading for what? Krishna's pleasure. Krishna came to this world to give Bhagavad Gita to all of us. That's why Krishna comes. Otherwise, why Krishna has to leave the spiritual world and come to the material world? Material world is not a good place. Krishna is there in the spiritual world. Vaikuntha, eternal place. Why does Krishna come here? To give us Bhagavad Gita. So when we read Gita, when we take that Gita and when we open it, Krishna becomes so grateful. One living entity is opening my book and reading. Krishna becomes very happy. Just like a father, when does a father become happy? When the father sees that the son is getting sound education. Right? The father works hard. What is the expectation that the father has? The child gets his education proper. Similarly, Krishna is like that supreme father. Krishna becomes very happy when we get our spiritual education properly. So just the point that we are reading Gita, opening Gita, whether we understand or don't understand, that's immaterial. Just the point that we are opening Gita and trying, that itself is pleasing Krishna. There's a very beautiful story in the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to Sri Rangam in South India, in those days, 500 years ago, Sri Rangam was the headquarters. Now also it is the headquarters of learning for Sanskrit. Great scholars would be there. So there was one assembly where all great Pandits, Sanskrit scholars were sitting, and there was one Brahmana who was an illiterate. He didn't know how to read or write. Now if you don't know how to read or write, how can you read Gita? But still he was opening the Gita and reading it. Everyone was laughing at him. Arey, unpad Gita pad raha hai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very amazed to see this scene. He went and asked this Brahmana, Arey, you don't know to read. Why are you reading Gita? So this Brahman said, my Guru told me to read Gita every day. So I am doing it. Mahaprabhu told him, Arey, theek hai, you are doing it, but you are not understanding anything, you can't read the verses. But Mahaprabhu saw that this person has tears in his eyes. So Mahaprabhu asked him, if you don't understand anything, why are you crying? So he said, my Guru told me I'm just trying to read, but I really don't understand. But when I think that Supreme Lord Krishna has become the chariot driver of Arjuna, he's taken such an humble post for Arjuna, I just have tears in my eyes. So Mahaprabhu told him, you have actually understood the essence of Gita. And why did this person get that essence? Because he tried to read, even though he didn't know the language. So these books are revealed according to our sincerity. If we sincerely try, definitely Krishna will be pleased. And when Krishna is pleased, our life is perfect. So having discussed all these various reasons why we should read, so I'll just try to recap the reasons that we discussed why we should read. First, to develop higher taste. Second, to be happy in Krishna consciousness. Only devotees who read are happy in Krishna consciousness. The third is to develop personal conviction. In spite of all the difficulties, we can remain firmly rooted in this movement. The third is it can answer all our questions in life. All the practical difficulties that we have, philosophical difficulties can be answered. The next is to help us in adverse situation. The next reason is to develop spiritual strength, to rectify agitation of mind. Another very important reason is to associate with the devotees and the Supreme Lord. And then we saw, by reading books, we can purify our hearts, we can chant better, we can help others, and ultimately we can please Krishna. So there are so many benefits of reading books. And if you don't read books, we are missing on a lot of benefits in life. Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 70, Prabhupada sacrificed so much of his energy in writing these books. So it's very important that we reciprocate with Srila Prabhupada by trying to read. So now we come to a very practical discussion. Now, having discussed the importance of reading, and as all of you all have already said, many of you all have tried your hands on reading. You all have tried to read Gita, Bhagavad. So would any of you all like to share what are the various difficulties that you all generally experience while reading Srila Prabhupada's books? What are your challenges in reading? Would anyone like to share? So that we can address it and help you all out. Anyone? I have listed it, but then I would like to hear from you all also. Anyone would like to share? Okay. How many of you all have tried reading first? Good. Himmat wale log hain. Tried reading. Good. So those who have tried reading, what are the difficulties generally you all face while reading? What are your challenges? Yes.
first attempt itself, sometimes I can't understand what is the meaning, like whatever I am reading, only I can't
Understand.
yeah. So I have to think over it again, I have to read back and forth at least 2 or 3 times. Then somewhere I...
Yeah. That's good that you're doing it. So Mataji shared one reason that the subject matter gets a little heavy sometimes. See, reading Krishna Leela is one thing, and reading philosophical book like Gita is another thing. Many times now we have this joke. If you want to go to sleep, one good solution is take Gita in hand. You get good sleep. In ISKCON we say there are 2 mantras. One mantra that will put you to sleep, and one mantra that will wake you up. The mantra that will put you to sleep is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Before class we chant this. As soon as you say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, people go in Samadhi. And if you have to wake them from Samadhi, you have to chant Mahaprasade Govinde. People will get up. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yes?
Most of the youths don't know like going Mahabharata. So starting from the very first chapter, it becomes a difficult challenge for them. So how do they start it as a
Okay, so his question is, as youngsters, they have no idea of what is Mahabharata, from where to start basically. Yeah, we will address that also. Anything else anyone would like to share? Yes.
Why there is no continuity in this process when I read it, there is always like certain time like the student we feel somewhere like lag behind in it in the process. It is not a certain I read every day, but then there's a time like I like.
You're saying you can't do it regularly. In between there is a gap.
Sometimes it's a gap of certain. When there is a gap, it keeps on happening. Then I get back onto it, but then the gap of...
We will come to that. He's brought out a very important problem that people face. As I told you, many people start, like today's class probably may inspire you all. Tomorrow you all might just go and start it. But after 1 week, again the same old habit kicks in, and then the book is there somewhere on the side, and then someone else stresses again, you may pick it up. So why? So his question is, why that gaps are happening? Why we can't do it consistently?
It start with a good thing. It goes on. Once you take a break, like 1 day, 2 days, that break even goes for 7 days.
Got it.
That is the problem. Right?
Yeah. Thank you for so nicely putting the point. Yeah, we will address it. Yeah. Anything else anyone would like to share? Anyone else? Some shlokas are difficult. Yeah. Okay, so we will touch upon all these points. See, generally some of the difficulties that devotees face is many devotees feel, especially a book like Bhagavad Gita, devotees feel that it's quite boring, quite monotonous. Right? As soon as you take the Gita, you start to feel sleepy. Mind becomes very distracted. People don't have time. People are not convinced to read. As they said, sometimes the subject matter gets very heavy, very confusing. Or as he said, you start with it and there is no consistency. Again, there is a break. So how do you actually deal with all these various difficulties? So now I'll come to this last part of today's session, how to read in such a way that you can complete books also, and you can also understand and relish these books. It's just not something that you do mechanically, but something that makes you really happy and you look forward for it. Right? So how do we actually make a reading a very good experience? First and the most important thing is the eagerness to read. That eagerness should be there, right? So at least especially a class like this, it tries to bring about that desire, that eagerness to read, right? So this is what, when we come to satsangs, as I told you, every week when you come to the satsang here, you will slowly develop that eagerness to understand more. You see, in these satsangs, in this 1 hour of class, how much we can touch upon. There is a limit to how much we can touch. There are few points we may just touch upon. but there is lot more that we need to touch, but the time is only this much. So these classes should inspire us so that we can go back home and go more deeply into those books. Every line that Srila Prabhupada has written, every word that Srila Prabhupada has written is very thoughtful. There is a certain message behind it. So only when we go back and when we have that eagerness, then only our reading will be good. So this principle of eagerness is something that is very, very important, which can actually address all those issues. The issue of not understanding, the issue of feeling sleepy, or the issue of not being consistent can all be addressed when we are actually eager to read these books. That desire should be there. Second very important principle to read is we do it in a very prayerful mood. So whenever we pick up Gita Bhagavad, we do it in a very prayerful mood. Just like before we begin a class, we chant a certain prayer. And the prayer is a simple prayer that, my dear Lord, I am trying to read something. Please help me understand. This prayer makes a big difference. Because this reading of books is not an intellectual game. It is more to do with Krishna's mercy. So when you sincerely pray, difficult subject matters, Krishna will make you understand. So that prayerful mood is something that is very important. Third principle is consistency, right? Trying to be consistent. And as he said, if you are having problem with consistency, another very connected point is do it in association of devotees, right? Take support. That is why Srila Prabhupada has made this society. See, for all of us, reading may be difficult. You see, in the process of bhakti now, there are different aspects: chanting, kirtan, reading, and every devotee might have something that they easily like to do. Like some devotees can just do kirtan for 4 hours together. It's quite easy for them. They are naturally inclined towards it. There may be some devotees who love reading. They can just sit with books for hours and hours. And there may be some devotees who don't like reading at all. And I'm sure in this category there will be many people don't like reading at all. So the best way is, if you are not inspired in reading, take help of devotees who love reading. Take support. Just like in college now or in school, this is what we would do, right? If one subject matter is very difficult for you, you can't just understand it. There will be some boy in the class who's understanding it, who's liking that subject matter. You sit with them and read, your understanding will get better. So take support, right? So you can create small groups, 1-2 friends or 2-3 together, and help each other in reading. Try to read together, or you all can report, this is what I read, share it with each other. It can make a difference. Right? So forming small groups of reading forums can make a big difference. Another very important principle on how to read is creating a proper ambience. A place at home where the book is kept. I was telling this point, a very important point. See, if you are not able to read books now, it's probably because the book is not in front of you. See, the mind now is lazy. If you want to read a book, if you want to read Gita, and the Gita is on a shelf on top, the mind will tell you, forget it. कौन जाएगा वो पुस्तक निकालेगा, कल देखेंगे. Understand? The mind is lazy. But if that Gita is right in front of you, as soon as you have the desire, the book is very reachable, you will read it. So one very important principle is, after this class you all can go home and do. If you feel that you are not able to read Gita, first thing, keep the Gita in front of you, right in your reach. First thing that you should do. If you do this, you will actually be able to read it. Keep the books visible in front of you. I would rather suggest keep 2-3 books visible in front of you. If the books are visible, looking at that you will feel, arey padenge. If a book is not visible only, you will never do it. Never you will go and remove a book and read it. वो कभी नहीं होगा. Keep the book very much in front of you. Create a proper ambience, a place where there is proper light and things like that. right? And as I told you, try to have devotee friends who can inspire you in reading. Another very important principle for those who can't understand the subject matter, as Mataji is already doing, try to go back and read it again. Try to underline, try to make notes. This is what we would do in our college books, right? Try to understand. So when you start putting certain effort in it, then that reciprocation will come, right? So we have to put certain effort in trying to understand these books, right? Try to underline, try to make notes, and as soon as you don't understand, try to consult with some devotee. Immediately try to clarify, take help. That's why this association of devotees is for. And the most important aspect, I would say, and in my experience, what has really helped me read books, relish books, understand books, is explaining it to others. This is the best thing that you can ever do. As soon as you have read something, try to explain it to someone, a small group or someone. As soon as you explain it, your understanding becomes more clear. Because when you have to speak it out now, you have to think about it, assimilate it. So share it with others. When you share it with others, that person also gets a benefit and your reading becomes better. So the best way to read is to teach. Teach what you have read. Explain it to others. In my own experience, I have read Gita many times. I have read Bhagavatam also. But when I have started to explain these books, my whole understanding of Gita Bhagavad has become so much more clearer and better. So explaining it to others, it may be just one friend or two friends, whoever it is, it can actually make a very huge difference in our life. So these are a few thoughts on how to read. In ISKCON we have His Holiness Param Pujya Radhanath Swami Maharaj. The way he would read books is something that's so inspiring. Radhanath Maharaj, way back in the 1970s, he was serving in our ISKCON temple in New Vrindavan in the West, in America, and he was a pujari. For pujari, you have to do 7 offerings a day, you have to do aarti, you have to cook for the deities. It's quite a busy schedule. In those days, Maharaj did this for almost like 7-8 years, and he would literally get 2-3 hours of sleep a day. Because by the time you put the deities to rest, it is night, and early morning from 3 your services start. So just few hours of sleep he would get. And whenever he would pick up a book, he would go to sleep. So the way he would do it is, he would walk and then read. And it is never that he got 1 hour, 2 hours of reading. The way he read Srila Prabhupada's books is, between every offering, once you offer to the deities, you have 10 minutes before you remove the offering. Immediately those 10 minutes he would pick up a book and read. So the point is, you will never get 1 hour, 2 hours of reading. If you are in that illusion that one day I will keep 2 hours and I will open Gita, your Gita will be Jashi hai Tashi only. You will never open it. But you will definitely get 5 minutes, 10 minutes here and there. Please use that time. My suggestion, I always say with devotees, whenever you go out, there are 2 things that should definitely be in your bag. Japmala and a book. It should definitely be there. Because if you are traveling and if you are waiting for someone in an office or something, you have 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If you don't have a book, you will open your mobile and do time pass. This is what will happen. But if you have a book, you will immediately open it and read it. So, reading can happen if we are eager, if that desire is strong, if that will is there are n number of ways to do it. So, it's important for us that we create this desire. You all have a WhatsApp group. Sundari Naika Mataji has put a flow chart in that group. You have opened that group now. She has put a flow chart in that group. Did you all get it? Did you all get it? Huh? How many of you all got it? Please raise your hand. That flowchart is important for today's discussion. Did you all get it? Okay. So please look through that flowchart. If you all have not got it, someone who is next to you all, they may have it. Just please share that flowchart with each other. Just go through it. I will explain this. This is something that will make a big difference in your reading. And it's nice, actually it's Krishna's arrangement that this session is happening towards the end of the year. We are going to start a new year. People start a new year in various different ways. So we can start this new year with a good resolution. How many of you all have read the complete Bhagavad Gita? Please raise your hands. Read the complete Bhagavad Gita? Okay. So this coming new year 2024, if you look at this chart and if you all are sincere, in 1 year you can complete reading the Gita. 1 year. So if you look at this flow chart, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth column says Bhagavad Gita as it is. The sixth row, says Bhagavad Gita as it is. You all have seen that row? So Bhagavad Gita has total 868 pages. Total Bhagavad Gita is 868 pages. So every day if you read 2.5 pages, how many pages? 2.5 pages every day. In 1 year you will complete Bhagavad Gita. Is it very difficult? So why this flowchart is so useful? Because when you see a book, Bhagavad Gita, when you see that book, first of all you decide not possible, very big. So this flowchart is made by Vaishashika Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada's very senior disciple. A big task, when it is broken into small, it becomes, the mind can accept it. So Bhagavad Gita, which seems very big, every day if you read 2.5 pages, and 2.5 pages of reading with understanding may maximum take you 20-25 minutes, maximum. It can be done a little faster also, if you grasp it well. So if you can spend this much time every day, 2.5 pages, in just 1 year you can complete it. And if you feel 1 year is too much, I would like to complete it in 6 months, then every day read 5 pages of Gita. You will complete Gita in 6 months. And you see, just 2.5 pages in a day, you will complete it in 1 year. Someday you may be in good mood. You may be able to complete 10 pages also. And the pace can be very fast. Right? So please meditate on this chart. I would suggest all of you all, you can take a printout of this chart. These are homeworks for all of you all. The first homework is keep the Gita right in front of you. Carry Gita with you in your books, in your bags. And this flowchart in a table or cupboard right in front of you. Keep looking at this flowchart and meditating. Definitely you'll be able to read this. So I always say this, that before we give up this body, at least once we should have read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Otherwise, at the end of our life, we'll regret that, I missed the royal opportunity. Right? So please don't miss this opportunity, and please do take this seriously. It will definitely help all of you all. I'll just end with one last shloka. This is a very beautiful shloka written by Srila Sanatana Goswami, who is one of our great acharyas. He says, Madek Bandho Mad Sangin, Mad Guru Mad Mahadana, Mad Nistaraka Mad Bhagya, Mad Anand Namostute. Sanatana Goswami is offering prayers to Bhagavatam, and this prayer also goes hand in hand with Gita. He is offering prayers to the scriptures, and he is saying, Madek Bandho. In this material world, we have one friend. And what is that friend? Gita Bhagavat. Mad Sangin. Mad Sangin means a constant companion. We may have someone in our life, they may come and go. But this Gita Bhagavat can be our constant companion and constant friend. Mad Guru. Gita Bhagavat is our Guru. Mad Mahadana. Our greatest wealth is Bhagavad Gita. When Srila Prabhupada went to London for one of the first times, one of the reporters in London asked Srila Prabhupada, why have you come here from India? Prabhupada said, you British guys, you all ruled India for 200 years. and when you all left, you all looted everything and went. But you all forgot the most important wealth of India, Bhagavad Gita. I have come here to give that to you. And Prabhupada said, this is the most important wealth. So in this land of India, we may have so many things that we do, but Gita is Mad Mahadana. This is our greatest wealth. Mad Vistaraka. Just by reading Gita Bhagavad, we can get liberated. Mad Bhagya. People want good fortune, and people keep, what is that? Laughing Buddha, and I don't know what all people do to bring good fortune in their life. Just keep Gita Bhagavad in your house. So I say in the house, if there is no furniture, it's okay. But in the house, there should be Gita Bhagavatam. The house that doesn't have Gita Bhagavat, that house is incomplete. So please bring fortune in your life by keeping Gita Bhagavat in our house. Mad Bhagya. Mad Anand. What happiness we are looking for is there in these books. Mad Anand Namostute. So in this way, Sanatana Goswami, in this very beautiful prayer, he offers these prayers to Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any question before we end? Hope this session was beneficial to all of you all, and I hope and pray that